The cruel game of narcissists, when they discard you only to pull you back in. There's a quiet kind of heartbreak that settles in when you finally realize the person you loved was never capable of loving you back, not the way you needed, not the way you hoped. It's not that they didn't want to love, it's that they simply couldn't. Psychologists describe narcissism as a wound, an emptiness born from shame so deep that it becomes unbearable. Dr. Craig Mockin calls it the tragedy of a wounded self. Beneath all their arrogance and charm is a fragile core of insecurity. They're constantly chasing validation, trying to feel whole through admiration and control. But instead of turning inward to heal, they turn outward, using people as mirrors, reflecting an image of perfection that hides their chaos inside. To them, love isn't connection, it's performance. Every relationship becomes a stage, and you're just another character in their script. When they first enter your life, it feels electric. They seem to understand you in ways no one else ever has. They listen, they flatter, they memorize your dreams. But this isn't empathy, it's strategy. Dr. Ramani Durvasula often says narcissists are emotionally colorblind. They can mimic the shape of love, but not its soul. What feels like destiny is actually design. This is the love bombing stage, where they build an illusion so beautiful you stop seeing the cracks. It's not real intimacy, it's control disguised as affection. Then, without warning, the energy shifts, the warmth fades. Suddenly, the person who once adored you now seems irritated by your existence. Small criticisms slip out, you find yourself apologizing for things you didn't do. This is the devaluation phase. The compliments that once made you glow now turn into subtle jabs. Psychologists call this projection, when a narcissist offloads their own shame and self-hatred onto you. You're desensitive, they say, when what they really mean is I can't handle my own flaws. Your confusion, your pain, it all feeds their sense of control. And then, one day, they disappear. The silence is deafening. It feels like you've been erased. But what most people don't realize is that this discard is rarely final. It's not goodbye, it's a test. Dr. Les Carter calls it a control tactic in disguise. They're watching to see how you'll react. Will you beg? Will you break? The silence is their weapon, and your anxiety is their fuel. Every unanswered text, every sleepless night, it's proof to them that they still own you. This emotional push and pull creates what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement, the same pattern that drives addiction. Your brain becomes hooked on their approval, desperate to recapture the high of that early affection. Dr. Patrick Carnes describes this as trauma bonding, a chemical addiction to pain where your body confuses chaos with love. So when they return, as they always do, with tears, apologies, or promises of change, your heart races. It feels like relief, like hope. But it's just the cycle restarting. The hoovering begins. They reach out with nostalgic messages. I've been thinking about you, or no one ever understood me like you did. Sometimes they play the victim. I've changed. I just need one more chance. It's not love, it's bait. Psychologists explain this through cognitive dissonance, your mind fighting to reconcile to conflicting truths, the person who hurt you and the person you once loved. You cling to the memory of who they pretended to be, not who they are. What this does to your body and mind is profound. Living in constant uncertainty floods your system with cortisol, leaving you anxious, exhausted, and hypervigilant. You stop trusting yourself, you question your sanity. But the truth is, this confusion isn't weakness, it's a trauma response. Your brain is trying to make sense of emotional chaos. That's why real healing starts with grounding, calming your body before you can heal your mind. Therapists often guide survivors through deep breathing, mindfulness, and trauma-informed therapy to rewire a nervous system that's forgotten what safety feels like. The hardest part of recovery is facing the truth. It was never your fault. You didn't cause their anger, their withdrawal, or their cruelty. You simply stopped playing the role they needed you to play. Dr. Ross Rosenberg often says narcissists discard people not because they've lost interest, but because they've lost control. Your awareness, your growing strength, threatens them, and that's when you begin to win. Healing from a narcissist isn't just about leaving, it's about coming home to yourself. It's learning to reparent the parts of you they broke, the parts that still believe love must be earned. It means setting boundaries, saying no without guilt, and giving yourself the compassion you once gave them. Over time, you begin to fill the emptiness they left with your own light, and slowly, their shadow fades. So, when they reappear with the same charm, the same words, the same promises, remember what every psychologist knows: they don't miss you. They miss your attention. They miss your energy. They miss the way you made them feel powerful. But you've outgrown the role they wrote for you. And when you finally stop responding, when you choose peace over chaos, something miraculous happens, their power dissolves, and you begin to breathe again. What comes next is one of the most haunting parts of the narcissistic cycle, the hoovering phase. It's that moment when the narcissist pulls every emotional string they can find to draw you back in. To the outside world, it might look like reconciliation, flowers, tender messages, long apologies, desperate promises of change. But psychologists see through the performance. They call it emotional dosing. Dr. Ramani Durvasula describes this stage as a calculated emotional dosage where the narcissist gives just enough affection to stop you from leaving, but never enough to make you truly feel safe. It's not love, it's maintenance. It's about keeping you hooked on the illusion, just enough to keep the supply flowing. Underneath those grand gestures lies something fragile and terrified, their deepest fear: abandonment. Every message, every gift, every tear is driven by that fear. Beneath the mask of control is an emotionally stunted child who learned long ago that vulnerability leads to pain. As Dr. Carol McBride, author of Will I Ever Be Free of You, explains, many narcissists are trapped in attachment trauma, a deep, early wound that taught them that love must be controlled and that showing weakness is dangerous. So instead of choosing empathy or accountability, they create chaos to keep power. When they beg, when they cry, when they promise redemption, it's not an act of love. It's a manipulation designed to awaken your compassion and reset the balance of control in their favor. For those with kind hearts, the empaths, the peacemakers, the ones who grew up in emotional chaos, this tactic works almost every time. Psychologists call it trauma reenactment, the unconscious replay of old wounds in new relationships. When the narcissist turns sweet again, your nervous system interprets it as safety. Relief floods your body. Hope flickers back to life. You want to believe this time will be different. But this isn't healing, it's addiction. Dr. Patrick Carnes compares it to a chemical loop. Pain followed by pleasure, withdrawal followed by reunion. The brain releases dopamine in response to their crumbs of affection, trapping you in the very cycle that's breaking you. Then comes the act of false remorse, the most seductive lie of all. Narcissists are fluent in apology. They know how to sound sincere. "I've changed," they'll whisper. "You mean everything to me. I can't lose you," but as Dr. Eleanor Greenberg points out, narcissists don't apologize to heal. They apologize to regain control. Their words are tools, their tears are strategy. There's no consistent action, no accountability, no sustained change. Once they sense your guard lowering, the performance fades. The cycle resets. And if words and affection stop working, they move to something darker: crisis manipulation. "If you leave me, I'll hurt myself. You're the only one who can save me." These are not confessions, they're traps. Dr. Susan Forward, who coined the term emotional blackmail, describes this as a system built on four emotions: fear, obligation, guilt, and hope. The narcissist cycles through them like a script, painting themselves as the victim, recounting childhood trauma, playing the helpless soul in need of rescue. Your empathy becomes the chain they use to keep you close. And yet, through it all, none of it is about reconciliation, it's about leverage. Dr. Ross Rosenberg, author of The Human Magnet Syndrome, says that narcissists thrive in relationships where guilt becomes currency and empathy becomes a weapon. They make you responsible for their emotions, their healing, even their happiness. You become their caretaker, their therapist, their anchor. Slowly, you forget your own needs, your own boundaries, your own voice. When that no longer works, they escalate again, triangulation. Suddenly, you're not alone in the dynamic. They recruit allies, friends, family, even therapists to echo their narrative. They miss you so much. You're being too cold, or worse, they hint at someone new. I've met someone who really understands me. It's all deliberate. From a psychological lens, this triggers fear of replacement, one of the most primal wounds in the human psyche. They're not just manipulating your heart, they're attacking your sense of worth. And when all empathy and charm fail, the mask finally cracks, rage replaces remorse. Threats replace tenderness. Dr. Heinz Kohut called this the narcissistic injury, the eruption that happens when their illusion of control is threatened. They threaten to destroy your reputation, drain your finances, take your children, ruin your peace. It's not about love anymore. It's about annihilation. They would rather scorch the earth than see you walk away free. But here's what every psychologist wants survivors to remember. None of this chaos means they love you. It means they're disordered. Their rage, their tears, their promises, it's all the language of a person who refuses to face their own emptiness. The battle they wage isn't with you, it's with themselves. And no amount of empathy can save someone who refuses to see their reflection. Healing, then, becomes an act of rebellion. It means drawing boundaries so solid they feel like armor. It means learning the power of gray rocking, becoming unreactive, untouchable, boring to their chaos. It means choosing silence when every part of you wants to explain, justify, or defend. Most importantly, it means learning to find peace again, to trust calm after years of walking on emotional landmines. Because for survivors of narcissistic abuse, peace feels strange at first, even wrong. But as your nervous system heals, that peace becomes your new normal. And that is where the true ending lies, not in their apology, not in their promise, but in your decision to stop playing. To let silence speak louder than their noise. To finally say, without words, I see you. I understand you, but I'm done dancing for your emptiness. When a narcissist starts losing control, something inside them snaps. The mask, that charming, magnetic illusion, shatters, and what spills out is pure chaos. Suddenly, the person who once swore they loved you becomes your enemy. They weaponize your memories, your fears, your secrets, everything you ever trusted them with. It's not just cruelty, it's psychological warfare. Psychologists call it reputation assassination, the narcissist's final act of control. They twist the story, painting themselves as the victim and you as the villain. You'll see them post half-truths online, whisper lies into shared circles, or share private things you once told them in moments of love. It's not about truth, it's about power. Humiliation becomes their tool to reclaim the control they feel slipping away. Because in their world, control is survival. To understand this madness, you have to look deeper into what experts call narcissistic injury. When their ego is threatened, when you finally pull away, they don't just feel hurt, they feel annihilated. Their sense of self is built entirely on admiration, attention, dominance. Without it, they collapse inside. Dr. Heinz Kohut called it emotional fragmentation, the internal shattering of a person who's never truly known themselves. Their rage isn't always hatred, it's terror, the terror of being nothing. And instead of facing that emptiness, they turn it outward. If they can destroy you, maybe they can avoid seeing the ruin inside themselves. But not all attacks are loud. Sometimes the manipulation returns in silence, what psychologists call the silent Hoover. A like on your post, a soft thinking of you message. A chance encounter that feels almost too coincidental. It's not an apology, it's a test. They want to know if you'll still respond. If you do, they take it as permission to come back. If you don't, they panic because without your reaction, they feel irrelevant. Dr. Craig Mockin calls this narcissistic depletion, that unbearable emptiness when their supply disappears. This is where so many survivors stumble, not because they're weak, but because of the trauma bond. When someone who's hurt you suddenly shows tenderness again, your brain lights up like it's being rescued. Dopamine, oxytocin, adrenaline, the chemistry of addiction. One small gesture feels like hope. Like maybe, just maybe, this time it'll be different, but that hope is the trap. It's what keeps you hooked, waiting for the person who never truly existed. And make no mistake, none of it is about reconciliation, it's about control. Narcissists don't seek connection, they seek compliance. They don't want healing, they want fuel. Every tear, every message, every ounce of attention feeds the emptiness they can't fill. Dr. Eleanor Greenberg once said, with narcissists, indifference is the ultimate rejection, and she's right. Silence starves the monster. Still, when they finally discard you, it feels like failure, as if you weren't enough. But psychologists are clear. It's not about your worth. Their dissatisfaction isn't with you, it's with themselves. They can't love because they've never learned to face their own shame. They're not searching for love, they're running from pain. So when you stop being their mirror, they move on. Healing from this isn't about revenge or getting closure. It's about reprogramming your nervous system to stop craving the chaos. It's about teaching your body that peace isn't abandonment, that quiet isn't danger. You begin to realize that what you called love was survival, and that real love doesn't ask you to suffer to prove it. Freedom starts with acceptance, the brutal kind. They will never change. They will never give closure. The story doesn't end with their apology, it ends with your awakening. So when they reappear, liking your photo, sending that just checking in text, or whispering the apology you always wanted, remember this, it's not a door opening. It's a trap resetting. Every message, every memory, every tear is bait. Don't bite. Walk forward. Because the moment you choose peace over chaos, yourself over their pain, the game ends. And for the first time, you win.